Good day, our viewers. This is the Point Blank Talk Show on News Peddlers. My name is Manoah. Kikekon. With me today is Dovoeke Daniel, who has always been with me on this show, where we discuss matters concerning the public relating to Badagry, Nigeria, and around the world. Today on Badagry, we are looking at the recent issue as regard electricity in Badagry and the environment. There are some communities in Badagry today that they've had light for the past 2 years. They've not had electricity for the past 2 years, and the like. A community like Dovoeke now for more than a year now, there's no electricity at all in Dovoeke community as a whole. In Iragon community now, Iragon community for the past 3 weeks, there's no electricity in that community at all. Meanwhile, the Iragon community has 3 transformers. It's just only even the one that is functional has fault. 2 of it has not been connected for over 7 to 5 years. Yeah, and meanwhile, that project had been given to a contract by the government, fully funded. But at the end of the day, one was partially connected, the other one was not even connected at all. That as regard that. And when you come to Ikoga area, it's a part of Ikoga that had not had light for almost 2 years now. And when you talk about the main town of Badagry, the major part that is giving me concern is the Palace of Akran of Badagry, the paramount ruler of Badagry division. His area entirely had not had light for the past 6 months, and the NEPA is not even ready to turn up despite all attempts. Don't you think that is a slap on Badagry on one, another at the other hand, looking at Badagry economy? Do you think the economy of the local government as a whole can thrive without electricity? That is one. In terms of Badagry West LCD entirely, it does not have light. The whole LCD for the past more than a year. Owing to the fact that some cable was stolen and all these things, and NEPA has just kept quiet and looking at what do you think could be the impact of this on the local government?
Well, I think the power holding company in Badagry, probably a kid or any distribution company that has been in Badagry over the years, are just a replica of what they have been doing in every other part of it. These people are culpable in criminality. They are fond of, trying to make money from where they did not sow. Senate recently spoke about anytime a community spent its own money to develop electricity in a particular community, those communities should, recover their money back from these people. But over the years, it has always been that anytime there is issue concerning transformer or electricity, most often the community will bear the pain, and this is unacceptable. If you look at the case of, let's start from where you started from, the likes of Iragon having 3 transformers. This has always been the issue. There are always corruption cases within community itself. When government has done their own parts by giving out transformer, or community themselves even some cases community have been contributing money to purchase transformer on their own. And you talk about Iragon having 3 transformer, and out of the 3, the one functional is faulty. Definitely it should be faulty because it has been overstressed by loads from different areas of Iragon. As big as Iragon is, it shouldn't be heard that Iragon is using only one functional transformer, which is already faulty now, and the entire community is thrown into darkness. So this is not making any sense. Then you look at those who are culpable in the areas of the remaining 2, where money has been awarded for it, and some persons, through one means or the other, have diverted the fund for their selfish gain. I think an investigation should be launched into that area, and those that are culpable should be held responsible to send a deterrent message to others who also think of going in the same direction. Because you cannot keep people in darkness. in this era. How do you disconnect an entire community from having us? We are even talking about, reducing cleaner environments and reducing carbon emission. How can you keep a whole community in darkness and you expect them not to generate, carbon emission?
In this age of technology, which some people will have to charge their phone, use electricity, there's just need for.
Exactly.
So they will just have to resort to generator.
And generator, the consequence is generating carbon emission, and it will definitely affect the ozone layer at the end of the day. And it's definitely going to, consume our atmosphere. And even generator itself, the carbon emission from it is even dangerous to human health. It's dangerous to human health. And when humans consume those things, they are dying gradually. Even if you don't die immediately, you are dying gradually. And it can cause several underlying ailments. So these are not speaking well to our society, that the whole community should be thrown into darkness. Coming back to Ikoga, part of Ikoga has, it's just shameful that a whole Ikoga with a king. The history of the king of Ikoga, has been something that people should even make inquiry into. They have a very rich history, and the king is such a powerful king. And you look at an area of his own community that has never had light over 2 years now. It's not making any sense. Why should there be? And in fact, as bad as it is, houses within the whole of Ikoga were taxed to pay 5,000 naira each.
That will be running to
millions for them to get a new one. While some people are paid, some people are yet to pay those money. But then, should individual houses, especially those that are not, affected, why should they be paying for such money? Why should individuals be held responsible for, resources that belongs to power holding company?
And one thing about buying a transformer or not buying a transformer, when the community buys a transformer, according to power holding companies, immediately it gets connected. It becomes the property
no longer their own property
of the power holding company.
It becomes the property of the power holding company, and it is fraudulent. Why should they take charge of what they do not own? Even if you call on these people for installation, they will still tax you. They will take money from you. So why should you be paying for all of these things, which are running into millions of naira? And yet they will later come and they will still bring bills for you to go and pay. They will still disconnect your houses. And yet the most annoying part is that people are not even getting the electricity in those areas that we are. In fact, in Badagry entirely, people are not using electricity. That is why I think I align with the views of Senator this senior senator in the house from Borno State, I think, who raised an issue that there is discrimination in distribution of electricity in Nigeria. And why should some people be on band A and some are on band B, and all types of bands? So I don't even know the kind of bands we belong to in Badagry.
Especially we should be on band H or band B. Because this is not something close.
Once it is closer to the end of the month, they will bring they will bring on the electricity
within 2-3 weeks.
Enjoy it within 3 weeks for where you only enjoy it for they will probably on it for few days for them to come and recoup money, generate money to their own pockets. And those who refuse to pay, they disconnect them, and there are a lot of people who are benefiting from this corrupt system. So these are things that should be, we are calling on all leaders of Badagry and the state government itself to look into the issue of electricity. People can no longer sustain themselves. Even businesses are dead. Those who are doing businesses, relating to fishing.
Even those that are doing business relating to printing, mobile phone repair, welding. I was speaking with a printer that he prints, does typing. I was speaking with him. He said he spent 70,000 naira every week.
Yes, that's not it. You consider the price
70,000 naira every week on buying petrol.
The prices of petroleum in Badagry is not the same as prices of petroleum in Lagos.
I was
Ikoga
shocked.
area here, they are selling for over 700 naira. Some are selling 700, some are selling beyond 700 naira. So you look at it, he is definitely going to power his own generator to generate his own light, and at the end of the month, NEPA will probably give him electricity for few minutes or few days and still collect exorbitant prices from him. It's not making sense. It's not promoting trade development and anything like that. Then you look at Badagry West. Their own case is entirely a shameful thing. That the whole of that local government is entirely disconnected from power grids.
Yeah.
If anything is the problem, I think their representatives would have used their office to lure the governor to addressing these problems in their area. But I think they are all comfortable, probably because most of them are not living within the community.
Yeah, the major stakeholders, none of them are there. So the people are.
So
there have been a lot of concern that have been raised as regard that those that are even managing to stay there has solar powers in their houses, and
they don't
since
care.
the public, the common man there does not have a solar power, they are now leaving them to their fate.
No, this is unacceptable. And those who are protesting against this should never be seen as an enemy of that area. They should rather look into their problems. They should address these problems as a matter of urgency. We are calling on all leaders of Badagry West, from the local government chairman to the House of Assembly members and every other stakeholders, including the governor of Lagos State.
Yeah.
We are calling on all of them to look into these matters of electricity in Badagry. There are, areas even in Badagry that ought to have more than 2 or 3 transformers. Even in Ikoga, there are so many areas that need more than 1 or 2 transformers, but they are on only one. There are some areas that even the electricity they have cannot charge their phone. Yet at the end of the month, this electricity distribution company, they will still come and bring bills to these people for them to go and pay estimated bill. This is not acceptable. So I think our leaders need to look into this and address all of these problems.
All right. Thank you, our viewers. This is still Point Blank Talk Show on News Peddlers. Secondly, we'll be looking at issues regarding Nigeria. Recently, last week, there's a serious issue in Rivers State where the governor declared that all the council chairmen should vacate the office. That the extension of office is not constitutionally allowed. So what's your take as regard that? Because looking at what happened last week, there was a bit chaos in that state where the public went to those local government to force the chairmen out of their offices. What's your take on that? What is the future of the state as regard the disagreement between the minister of FCT and the governor of the state?
I think the crisis in Rivers State, Governor Dovoeke did not manage the state. Former Governor Dovoeke, who happens to be the minister of FCT, did not manage to advise his allies properly.
Okay.
The problem started after those who are parading themselves now as House of Assembly members defected from PDP.
Okay.
And Nigeria runs under a law.
Yeah.
And we can never rule out the possibility of using those laws, especially when it favors us.
Yeah, which is supreme.
Exactly. So you look at it, it was a false mistake for them to have defected from the party through which they get elected into office.
Yeah.
And the governor immediately capitalized on that to say they have lost their seats.
Which are the assembly members.
Yes, the governor did not just act; he followed precedence.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court has ruled on that over the years. Look, you cannot steal the people's mandate. They cannot vote for you through a particular party, and at the end of the day, you defect to another party, meaning that you stole their votes to another party. It's not possible, it's not acceptable. So the governor maintained the position that these people who defected from the PDP in Rivers State have all lost their seats. So the governor is now working with those who remain in the party. So now if you look at the current crisis where some local government chairmen who are loyal to former minister, I mean the current minister of FCT, former governor Dovoeke, you look at it, those local government chairmen, they are only trying to create a situation that does not exist. Mainly because the constitution is very clear. So you cannot extend your tenure, and nobody have the constitutional power to extend your tenure. So immediately after their days in office, they must vacate their seats. And that is what the governor is saying, that look, the members of local governments, I mean the chairmen of local government within Rivers State, your tenure is over, you have to vacate your seats. But these are House of Assembly members who have lost their seats now constitute themselves, and they are now saying that look, we the House of Assembly member, we have elongated your tenure for a period of 6 months. It does not happen anywhere. Even if they still have their seats as House of Assembly members, they do not have the constitutional power to extend the tenure of local government chairmen who are elected. Don't forget, they are elected by the people. So there is no, it's not a matter of appointment. You can only extend the tenure of someone who is appointed. But those who are elected, you cannot. They cannot exceed a minute in their office or in their office beyond the days the constitution allows them. So the battle in that, where some people who are even loyal to the governor, are going to the local government to force them out, shouldn't have happened in the first place. This should have been the role of the police. If they fail to obey the constitution, let the police take charge. Even before, at least before the governor, those local government chairman can even contest that their tenure has been elongated in court, they must vacate those seats immediately before going to court to fight for the tenure elongation, which was announced by those who have lost their seats. So for me, the crisis in that state is just a Dovoeke is only trying to lose relevance more and more, rather than for him to try to look for means to make peace and maintain his integrity in the state. The more he continues to go after the current governor, the more he loses relevance.
What do you think will be the prospect of the state in terms of making policies, bringing development? Because do you think, because the governor is using over a year now and he has always been distracted, how long does it take for him to now concentrate on the state development?
Well, I think this should be a matter of public concern, especially to the people of Rivers State. They have a right to enjoy governance without interference. Governor Dovoeke himself, when he came to power, he came to power through some people who sponsored his own election. And after he became the governor, they allowed him. He even assert himself with all forms of power as the governor, whereby nobody dares to even the president cannot interfere in Rivers politics when Dovoeke was the governor. So why is he trying to set another precedent that you are now the FCT minister? Allow the governor to breathe. Allow Rivers people to enjoy their governance. If that is why I so much like the policies of the current president, President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. When he was the Lagos state governor, immediately after him he brought former governor Fashola, and after him he brought Governor Ambode. At some point, there were heated tension in Lagos State where people seemed to see Governor Ambode as becoming too powerful and becoming too arrogant. But the president refused to make any statements. He was calm. While he wants to maintain his role as a leader of the party in the state, he equally tried to distance himself from issues concerning the governor back then. Then you look at it, at some point, election time will come. We will decide your fate. I think that should have been the same thing that Governor Wike should have done. If you know you are not enjoying the policies of this current government, keep quiet,
Allow him to work.
Yes, allow him to work. Allow him to use his years in office. A time will come for election again when he will equally need your support, and that is when you show him who has the party supremacy. But trying to, force the governor to do your bidding will look like as if you are still the governor. Meanwhile, you are not. You should understand the role, constitutional role that has been given to the governor. You must respect it. Allow the governor to
respect the office.
Respect the office.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. As regard international issue, recently we see the recent friendship that is building up between North Korea and Russia. And this is calling for international concern. These are the incidents that are traceable to the events during the Cold War, and eventually leading to some build-up of power along the axis of the world. So, what do you think is this prospect? Looking at the heated tension that have been between North and South Korea, and South Korea being an ally to the US. So what's your take as regard that?
Well, I think the issue right now between the mutual defense pact that was signed between North Korea and Russia is that it's just about trying to reinvigorate the Cold War era allies coming back together in a more mutual. And the US Secretary of State has condemned their recent mutual defense pact, because the pact states that an attack on North Korea is an attack on Russia, and an attack on Russia is equally an attack on North Korea. So both states have the right to interfere when both military aid and every other things, when an attack is aimed towards each other. But there are consequences to those pacts. If you look at North Korea, having been a state that has been pursuing or that has nuclear weapons, and they even have intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of reaching the US island. So you look at the consequence. Now Russia is now trying to make them their official friends. North Korea and South Korea has had issues of during the Cold War, from 1950 to 53, where it ended in truce. And ever since then, the issue have continued to generate heated crisis. North Korea constantly fire their missile. Even it's a threat to even Japan, where they fire several missiles across Hokkaido, across Japan into Hokkaido Sea, and in Japan. So these are issues that coming into an alliance with Russia will threaten the existing peace more and more. And if you look at ever since this pact has been signed, there have been at least 3 times North Korean army has crossed the 13 parallel line into South Korea, and they only return when South Korean military men fire a warning shot into the air. That is when they return. So this is saying that North Korea is becoming more bold, and the claims have been that they want to reunite the whole of Korea,
and meanwhile
under the control of North Korea. So they should respect the peace that they have been maintaining, whether it is relative peace or whatever. They should respect.
And looking at it now, it's as if both of them are on the same page in terms of Russia trying to reunite USSR.
That's exactly.
Korea now trying to unite the entire Korea.
Russia is on an all-out attack to return to the old Soviet Union, where they also try to. Every state in the Eastern European country happens to be, they are too weak to assert themselves as a state. Russia has always been the major decision maker in those areas. So now looking at Russia-Ukraine war, Russia is also trying to bring back Ukraine, considering especially its naval base. Russia happens to be one of the strongest naval military men across the world.
Yeah.
So now, and Crimea is one of the most useful areas.
Yeah. Looking at the water.
Yes, the water in Crimea,
water.
and especially their naval base in Sevastopol.
Yeah.
So you look at all of this, you understand that Russia needs Crimea and even Ukraine itself more than most of Ukraine is majorly populated by ethnic Russians.
Yeah.
There are a lot of ethnic Russians, especially in Crimea and some other part of Russia, the likes of Kharkiv and some other places. So you look at all of this, then you have to understand that Russia needs to go in that direction. And even considering the resources in those areas, they have a lot of resources. So Russia is trying to bring back old Soviet Union. North Korea is trying to reunite
Old Korea
to bring it back to a single republic. But there are consequences. The pact between North Korea and Russia has led to South Korea issuing a statement. South Korea has said that they are going to review their policy, where they have to consider or reconsider them sending military aid to Ukraine. During Russia-Ukraine war that has been ongoing for the past 2 years, South Korea has tried to maintain a neutral ground where it's not giving aid to
any part
Ukraine or Russia. But currently South Korea is now trying to see how it can give its own aid to Ukraine due to the consequences of that.
My own take is, if US is saying this mutual agreement will threaten world peace, we have a same agreement existing before now, which is the NATO agreement. Are you now saying if the NATO has such agreement, why can't Russia have such agreement too?
Look, NATO is a military alliance. That try to maintain peace.
Okay.
So to say, try to maintain peace. In question. But then, if you look at North Korea, has a reputation of trying to be aggressive. Then Russia also tries to becomes aggressive by invading states. Russia does not respect territorial boundaries, and even the same thing applies to North Korea. North Korea has not been respecting boundaries, territorial boundaries, and even
on waters or
everywhere. North Korea has over the years fired different missiles across Japan into Hokkaido Sea, and this is a territorial violation of Japan. So it has equally been doing the same thing to South Korea. So you look at the reputation of North Korea itself going into such an alliance, and especially when you look at the likes of Iran, who have become a rogue state that has been pursuing a nuclear. These are states that can become irrational anytime they feel. NATO is guided by a very strong policy that they maintain always. But you look at North Korea, it does not. Everything that comes to the mind of Kim Jong-un happens to be what the state desires to do. So, and you look at things that it can definitely threaten the world peace.
Looking at it on the other hand, don't you think like countries like Iran, Iraq, and even come into this alliance?
I do not see Iraq going into such an alliance, but I think Iran is one of the states that does not care about the consequences of any international sanction, and Iran can easily move into such an alliance to make it a tripartite alliance where an attack on any of them will become an attack on all of them. So, and definitely Iran may want to use that as a means to use Russia's aggression to exert its own anger on the US and even on Israel.
All right, thank you very much. This is still Point Blank Talk Show on News Peddlers. Thank you for being with us.
I think lastly we probably need to discuss the issue of
all right, thank you for being with us. Have a nice day. We have a nice week ahead. We'll still be coming right to you on this show, Blank Talk Show on News Peddlers, every Sunday 4 p.m.